Hello one and all, this is WellArmedWithTacos and welcome back to Let's Play Painkiller Black Edition. When we last left off, there was a butt that needs a kicking. And the game's gonna make sure we've got plenty of choices to do it. An epic soundtrack is epic. I'm coming for you, and hell's coming with me. I love this. Click, click. There's probably even some secret health and armors lying around if I bother to look for them. Really? I'm already full on that. Wow. There's the armor. I'm ready for you. I'm a man! And I've got no idea whether or not this guy has multiple stages. So, let's blow it! Question is whether his health is even going down, and it doesn't appear to be. No. I specifically? No. Okay, he's not taking damage. So we're going to load because we don't want to lose that bonus if he can't be wounded yet. We're going to have to figure out his conditions for being wounded and then take advantage of that, in fact. Till then, you move quick, sunshine. Right up the bunghole? No, no damage there. We need to find out what your weakness is. Doesn't have anything to do with the giant glowing circle. Oh dear. There's got to be conditions with these circles. We need to find out what they are. Got to do with the circles, obviously. Every once in a while, he just gets this huge electrical thing. Maybe I'm supposed to break the circles? I gotta figure out what the conditions are for hurting this guy. It might be one of those things where it just takes me forever to figure it out, and then I never really do figure it out. He electrocutes himself with the lightning. I'm not immune to damage. He doesn't take damage by being in it. Interesting. I'm not quite sure. I gotta figure out what it is he requires to take damage. I know it's got to do with these circles, I just don't know what it is. Although I do have a suspicion. When he does that, he calls upon these things. And it might be necessary to stand here and stall to make him hit that circle. But that doesn't seem to have an effect. We're wasting time here trying to figure out something. It didn't come to me when fighting Lucifer. It's not going to come to me now. I'm sorry, is that a building? That was a building. The circle is still here. You would think once the conditions for the circle are met, it would disappear. Alright. I'm gonna stop wasting time I don't have. See you in a second. Hello one and all, this is WellArmedWithTacos and welcome back to Let's Play Painkiller Black. When we last left off, I don't know why I'm doing my introduction. This is actually right at the end of another part. This is not new. So anyways, I looked it up. I watched the video on YouTube because this is beyond my intelligence and also beyond my time to bother to guess. Not something I'll learn on my own. Eventually, he puts himself down. Not yet, though. I watched another guy do it. I didn't watch how he ended it, so I don't know if there's a round 2 or anything. All I watched was how he first wounded him, and I'm gonna go based off that. I'm not trying to spoil anything more for myself than I need. You see, when you wound... Well, here we go. Should be doing this. See if we can finish him. Cheapness. Ah, black tarot cards. Really? Oh, I was gonna say I thought it said locked. I'm like, Health Stealer. Ooh. Cutscene. Pausing this.
Hello, Daniel.
Huh? Eve, how'd you get here?
I've been following you from the beginning, Daniel. I must admit, I've been here for what seems like all of eternity. And I've never seen anyone as tenacious as you.
Let's just say I was motivated.
Yes, Daniel. You are a man of conviction, driven by your conscience and emotions. But your emotions for others, not yourself. You have literally been through hell and back. You turned away from your rightful place at your wife's side in heaven to save me. A soul whose fate was decided when the earth was still young and new.
No sin is too great to be forgiven.
Of course, that's not for you to decide. Now is it? And where will you go now? What will you do, now that you've finished Samael's work?
I've done what I was asked. My destiny is to be at Catherine's side. That's where I belong. As soon as we get out of here.
Yes, Daniel. It's time for you to go. But not me. You have your destiny. And I have mine.
Eve! No!
I have known him as long as any mortal soul. Now that you have humbled yourself before him, he will allow you to choose your fate. That is one thing he has given us all. The freedom to choose. You can choose to return to Catherine, but I know you have feelings for me too. What I'm saying, Daniel, is that you have alternatives.
Times have changed since you walked in the garden, sweetheart. You've got nothing I want.
So, you've made your choice then. I suppose there's nothing left to say except... thank you.
Wrong again, Eve. I think we have plenty to talk about.
I'm back, and we're skipping this. Well, that was the Battle Out of Hell expansion. And I don't actually know if there's a different ending for being in on the higher difficulties like there is for the first game, or for the primary game. There might be, but I doubt it. There are many sequels to Painkiller, so we very well might get to see what becomes of Daniel and Eve in another day. But for the time being, this has just been Painkiller Black Edition, and it's actually time for me to give my true final thoughts. And I know I kind of did this during the credits, the last one, because I remembered in my mind that it was over, and then I thought, oh, the DLC or the expansion. But now it's time for my actual final thoughts, because we are not coming back to this. Painkiller Black, or Painkiller Black Edition. First off, let's talk about that ending. For some, it might be a disappointing ending. It kind of is, but it's not as bad as it could have been. It would have been very bad if Daniel had fallen to Eve. I wasn't expecting that twist of fate from Eve. So on the one hand, they kind of got me by surprise with that, which might seem like it's credit. On the other hand, they didn't really... what's the word? They didn't foreshadow it very well, at least to me. So it's not just, oh, they caught me by surprise. It's this came completely out of nowhere, and why did you do this? It's more like that. It's not necessarily a good thing. Not that I'm really upset. What really makes me happy is in the end, Eve is all like, ooh, look at me, you love me, be with me, and Daniel's like, nope. And then Eve is walking away, like, fine, then I'm going to walk away. And Daniel's like, nope. And I'm actually really glad that he was like that, because through and through, Daniel is such a badass character in this game. And I don't know if he's this badass in the sequels, but he is one heck of a good character in this game. And he's very one-dimensional, but I miss one-dimensional heroes like this. You get too many games these days where like they have weaknesses and stuff. No, Daniel has no weaknesses. Daniel is badass, demon-killing machine. That's all he is. That's all he wants to do. I like that about him a lot. Even when people he once considered his allies turn, the second they do, he's like, nope, killing you now, because he's got no qualms about it. There's nothing holding him back. So Daniel's a great character, and again, I hope he keeps that attitude to the rest of these games. I'm hoping. The thing is, like, Eve is kind of stupid, because I know Eve was already had some power to her, but she was gonna die to Alistair, and then, but freaking Lucifer had his power, and then everything's falling off my desk right now. I'm sorry. Lucifer has his power, and then when we killed him, Alistair took his power, and now we killed Alistair, and Eve has taken their combined power. We're just gonna kill you again. Like, you're still taking the power of our seconds. Like, we've handled all these people before. We can handle another, Eve. But good gameplay. The weapons, for the most part, feel solid. There's a couple of them that I wasn't very fond of, like the stake thrower. I wasn't very fond of it towards the late end of the game because it just seems to pack less of a punch as you go through. When you have only the shotgun, there are moments where it's good, but other than that, it's not really that good of a weapon. The little one that shoots the little shurikens and the lightning. The lightning was kind of good for some enemies, but again, other than that, not so great. The shotgun. At first, I'm like, it's just a decent weapon, but once I discovered that you can use the frost to knock out the bigger enemies in one shot, that's a really nice effect in that, and it's kind of cheesy, but it's really, really helpful to do that. I didn't like the game's emphasis on the horror, but that's not the game's fault for having it. That's my fault for not liking it in a game that's known for having a horror thing. Like, if you have a horror game, like you tell everyone your game is horror, and then when people who don't like horror play it and say they don't like it, what are you expecting? It's kind of the same way here. Like, I knew Painkiller had that, which is the reason I've kind of avoided Painkiller up to now, and it's definitely a turn off, and it prevents me from really letting this game just shine. But it's not enough of a burden overall. If every level was like a spin on the orphanage or something, I would not have been able to really play this game. But it's because they splash it more often than not, actually, with levels that aren't horror themed, like the ninjas and all like the Arabic warriors and just like lab dudes and all this kind of stuff. Like, those ones aren't bad. It's every couple of levels, like the orphanage is probably the worst one of them all. There was a couple of other ones where it's just, this is a little too scary for me, because I'm easily startled and I don't like to do horror. So the atmosphere in this game isn't 100% for me, but for what it is, it's not bad. Like, I can understand that someone who, like, there are people who say the orphanage is their favorite level. I can get why, because if you're the kind of person who likes things like that, they've done a good job of doing that. I'm just not the kind of person who does like that. Enemies were varied enough. There seemed to be a couple of types in every level. There were some of them who are just the longer range dudes that get harder to hit, or even shorter range, or whatever. But there seemed to be the general aesthetic all the way through. Some definitely worse than others, like just the standard troop dudes in the Russia level. Those guys were just a nightmare to begin with, just because they're accurate and they pump out a lot of shots. Some enemies, on the other hand, are just completely worthless busy work, like those nurses. I think those nurses were the ultimate example of like, what are you even here for? Your needle has no special chemical effects, you move very slow, and you don't hit very hard, and you don't even have ranged. It's like, those were literally just like, if they were there to be scary, they weren't. I've seen scary nurses, I've seen Silent Hill. That's not a scary nurse, what you had. Level design was great. I liked how every once in a while what you thought was the exit wasn't actually the exit. There was variation on whether you're going up or down, left to right. Sometimes you had to go backwards. The compass is usually helpful to pointing out the direction you need to go. Though some levels I think are a little too open, like the dockyard with those disgruntled union workers. I think some levels are a little too open, but it wasn't that big of an issue. Platforming in this game is a problem, because jumping in this game is a problem. Platforming in first-person shooters is not a problem. Platforming in Painkiller Black is a problem. But as long as you really get some momentum with your jumps, it's not too much of an issue. It's just getting that momentum. Some of the boss fights, like the two final bosses for the main game and for the expansion, can be a little hard to determine what their weaknesses are. That can be difficult, but it's doable. I just went online. If I was playing by myself, I probably could have figured it out. I can't say I would, but I probably would have been able to. But when I'm doing these videos, time is important to me. So I don't want to spend like 4 videos just trying to figure out the weakness of a boss. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I want to show this boss is hard, like this boss is hard to understand, and as a player, you need to understand what I went through. But other times I'm just like, no, let's just get it over with. And this was one of those times. overall, I think Painkiller is a very good game. It's a gem from an era of first-person shooters that we really just don't get anymore. Dusk is on its way this year, and really, really looking forward to Dusk. But Dusk also has a bit of a horror element to it, which is not going to be good, but I'm sure I'll be able to make it through nonetheless. When we come back, something new. I haven't decided on a new Let's Play yet. This is actually a little sudden, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. This is WellArmedWithTacos, signing off. Take care, and bye-bye. And this has been Let's Play Painkiller Black Edition. Signing off for the last time, as Daniel fights ever onwards against the never-ending flow of hell, for it is his destiny.